Catherine, thanks for coming today.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about your background and what you've done in the past.
My background is my degree was in medicine. I then went into pharmaceuticals and then went into venture capital. Having done that, I then really enjoyed startup companies. So I thought that I would actually move into being the CEO of startups and try to do it more efficiently than I saw it was doing. And I think I'm just an unusual character in that I like the shifting sand of startups. I like the uncertainty of coming to work every day, which you don't get in big pharma.
So that is a nice segue into how did Exonate come to be and what was your role in bringing that together?
I met the founding scientist through the Vice Chancellor of a university in the UK of Nottingham. And he had this idea for starting a company but didn't have the skills to do it. I thought the science was clever, and he was linked with an academic over here in Australia at the University of New South Wales, a chemist called Jonathan Morris. And I pulled the two segments, the wet biology in the UK, the chemistry from here, and the funding, and pulled it together into a company which is doing very nicely.
Terrific. So what has been that journey to date in commercialisation with the universities, the two universities?
Do you mean how do we work with the university?
That will do.
We haven't yet got to a stage where we are commercialised in that we are earning money. The two universities have worked collaboratively with each other, collaboratively with us. We have licensed in intellectual property from both Australia, Nottingham and the University of Bristol and pulled them together into our company. I think it's worked very well. I understand where universities are coming from in that they want impact for their intellectual property, but all three of the universities have in some way not just put intellectual property into our company, they've also put hard cash in. So we've taken money from their seed funds and directly from the university's own balance sheet.
And in terms of raising the other monies, what was that process like, and were there any surprises on the way?
No, not real surprises. I have done a lot of fundraising, so I selected seed funds that I thought would be interested in therapeutics. I selected angels who I knew had made money in this type of a space before and offered them a proposition where we would try to kill this project as quickly and efficiently as we could so we wouldn't waste money. And so we have always been oversubscribed. Every round that we've gone out to raise, we've been oversubscribed, and we found that business angels are introducing their friends and bringing in new investors, people I hadn't met. So I suppose that's surprising that we have been introduced to friends and family of potential investors as well.
And because you've had such a long journey in startup, what surprised you most along the way?
I think it has to be dealing with academics who have a very different value system to a company, in that everything we do, we try to keep it a secret. So we try to patent things, don't publish, don't tell anybody. Whereas to work with academics, their careers depend on publishing. So there's always been this conflict of, I want to put a poster up, I want to publish that, and we've had to quell that enthusiasm to publish the correct thing at the correct time and not just a publication in order to look good on a CV of an academic.
And is there any advice you'd give researchers if they're looking at taking the startup journey?
Talk to people who've done it before. I honestly do not believe you can network enough. Everybody has different experiences in starting a company. There's an awful lot of pitfalls, and if you find somebody who fell in a hole and managed to get out of it and can avoid that hole, that's brilliant. Even down to which lawyers are good, what advisors should you use. Just talk to everybody you can. And then I would say that successful people like to chat, and don't be frightened to approach a successful entrepreneur and ask them for advice, even if you don't know them. Find a way to get to talk to them because they'll probably help.
Any big mistakes that you sort of think, if I had my time, I'd do that differently?
In this company, I would assess all of the IP within the universities at the get-go, and I would have asked for more rather than have to go back with a shopping bag and buy more stuff that actually on day one I probably could have got. That's what I would change in this company.
And finally, the last question, how have you found working with Uniseed, and have we added any value to the business over time?
You absolutely have. It's been delightful. The people are nice, very, very helpful. Made introductions to people when we've asked for it. Exonate didn't have any network over here in Australia when we started, and the first Australian that I ever spoke to was Peter Devine, when I found him on Google and picked up the phone and said, "It looks to me like you invest in the University of New South Wales, can we come and meet you?" And he said yes, and it's been a very smooth journey since then.